This is a PI Advice Podcast.
Yeah, boy, what's going on? This is Andrew with the Private Investigator Advice Podcast, coming to you live from a rain-filled state. Actually, it was actually a sunny day today. I don't know what was going on, but we got lucky. Yeah, how is everybody doing? I hope you guys are all making money or deciding whether you guys want to be private investigators or not. This podcast is for those, they're just kind of interested in the industry. What's it all about, right? And there's some guys that are out there that's like, hey, I'm just a private investigator. I just want to hear stuff about PI stuff. And you get your borderline, I want to be a business owner, I don't know. And then you got your new business owners, hey, what are you doing? And I don't know. Sometimes I have all this, I feel like I have brilliant information, and sometimes I just have I already knew that information. But either way. Hope you guys are doing okay listening to this on your drive, or maybe you're just sitting there with no activity. Who knows? I don't know. But people reach out all the time to me, and God bless them for doing so. I don't always have the answers. Sometimes I hate having that answer. Like, I hate being able to say, well, you've been in this industry 10 years. You don't know, Well, and the answer to that is because sometimes we get comfortable in what we're doing, and we don't seek out new information. And you will find that to be true as you either become a private investigator or you start your own business. Eventually, you will stop asking around for information. You just will kind of you get comfortable with what you're doing. But needless to say, there were some things that were brought up today, and a lot of things happened this week I was kind of excited about, and we'll get into that in a bit. But I kind of feeling the slowdown starting to happen. It's October, and I'm not getting the phone calls from the people I do work for very often, at least not as often. Now, I'm making my bills and spending time with the family. This is exactly what I want. But at the same time, can't help but worry. Just a natural part of this business. So what do we got in the news here? Let's see. In the news, I just got an email from somebody in my association. He said they caught the news for TLO. Apparently TLO, well, they filed for bankruptcy, and then they told like all their customers, from what I understand, I could be way off, but they said, hey, don't worry about it. It's just a bankruptcy for reorganization. And so, that happens sometimes, right? I guess they get their ducks in order, and it gives them a way to move money around. I'm not quite sure. I haven't filed for bankruptcy. But I guess now they are up for auction, so someone's going to buy them, I guess. I don't know. It kind of concerns me. The very, their financial state. You can Google it, or I'm sure I'll post the article on this podcast blog thing that I'm going to do. It just sounds very suspicious, if you ask me. What's that all about? What's going on? So today we're going to talk about websites, and we're going to talk about it for a couple reasons. The first reason is because I got an email from a listener. No, I take that back. She wasn't a listener. She reads my blogs, and I think she watched my videos too. I'm not quite sure. But she wrote me this email, and she's asking about domain names. She's like, hey, I'm working for a company, and I'm getting ready. I want to do my own thing. That's essentially this isn't verbatim. This is me reinterpreting her email. And so she's like really into it. She's like, she had heard an earlier podcast, or maybe it was an article I wrote about websites a long time ago. And she was saying, hey, I want this URL, or this is my business name. Should I buy the business name? And And so it's kind of like, it's one of those things where you kind of you gotta talk. It's hard to email at all. It's hard to do all that. And I did the best I could. And then the very next day I got a call from somebody who is now a sponsor of the show. And he does websites, but we'll get into that in a second. We'll get into that after I talk about all this. But so then I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's just what it's meant to be. Maybe that's just what we need to talk about today is websites again. Maybe we need to open that can of worms, and I will do the best that I can. I have been building websites, not just the PI advice one, which is, one of those things in the works. It's always going to be, I'm always going to be trying to add new traffic and reach new people with different things that I do. So I want to provide some tips, and I might be scattered all over the place, but we're going to get there. We're going to get to the point that I get to talk about this new sponsor, because I think it's super duper important, not just because they're a sponsor, but because I think they're going to add a lot of value to the industry. I don't think they're getting enough, not enough people are hearing about it. Not enough people understand how important a website is. And I can just beat you over the brow. Yes, you need a website. I shouldn't have to bring this up anymore, but I'm sure I'll have to attend another podcast in this lifespan of this podcast again, talking about it. But so here's the thing. I want to tell 2 stories, and then we'll get into some other stuff. But here's the thing. I have one friend that I think I've written about before. He has a business. He's actually had a business longer than me. He's kind of sat on it, didn't do much with it. He's got the business license. He's got his own, he could do his own thing, whatever he wants. He could do insurance. He could do missing person. He could do whatever he wants. And he finally finds himself in a position that he's just working for himself. He's not working for anybody else. It's just his own business. And I said, hey, you need to get a website going. Because at the moment, all he had was I think it's a Yahoo webpage. It's just a one-page thing. There's no additional pages. It's just like you land on it and that's it. There's nothing. There's nowhere else to go. Nothing else to see. Very uninspiring, right? And I gave him the resources. I'm like, dude, I will help you with this. I will help you get to where you can get found in your area. Because he's a little bit south of me. He's like, yeah, man, I'm going to do that. I'm going to look into that. And he never did it. And this is like a year went by, maybe even longer. I mean, I gave him several opportunities to do it, like to help him. And he was getting most of his work from, I want to say, like a Yellow Pages listing. And he paid for it, so it was always at the top or near the top. But he didn't get that much work. He got some, so I would definitely look into that if that's something that's showing up a lot in the web searches. But I won't get into that now. We'll just get past that. And so, needless to say, we get to a point now to where he doesn't get the phone calls that's going to keep him going, to provide an income, to have an opportunity to sell his services, and he just fizzles out. And now, he's just working for somebody else now. He's working for another company. So I'm pretty sure he's not going to be pursuing his own business stuff for a while. He might still carry a license, but I don't think he can do anything with it at the moment. So where's the moral of the story of that? Well, his website looked like poo-poo. Okay. It was it was not inspiring. It was, you couldn't find it. I mean, you would have to put in the URL, like the website name, to find it. Like I couldn't put in the name of a city and private investigator together and find his website. So who's going to look for him? I mean, you're going to find him on the Yellow Pages ad, or you're not. He doesn't exist unless you're like searching licenses or something. And other than that, he wasn't actively selling his services either. So it was like even worse, right? Like you're just doomed for failure. If you can't get found and you don't go out and find them, then you're done, dude. Now, I love the guy. He's a great investigator, right? Great surveillance investigator, I should say. But the website thing is just such a simple thing that we can do. as business owners. I mean, I can't stress that enough. So that's the first story, right? And then we had the second story where we had a listener. He spoke with me, and I think I've talked about this before, but I'm just going to talk about it again because it's a good success story of a website. And he first he said, I didn't know who he was from Adam, right? And he sends me this like, hey, this is my website. Tell me what you think of it. And he had made it himself, and it wasn't horrible, right? It was you could tell that he did it himself. I didn't really have a huge problem with it. I was thought, it was much better than case A over here with just the one page. He's got a couple of pages, and I looked at it and I kind of read through it. Now, wanted to give him, what I thought, an honest opinion. I said, look, go back in there. You have some spelling errors. You want to fix that. Focus on some keywords. And, I think one of the big thing is that he didn't own his own domain. And so whatever the name of his company wasn't focusing on his area. Then that's another thing. So basically I said, you might want to change your domain. That may be something you want to consider. And, fix your spelling errors. So then he ends up calling me. I usually don't have listeners call me, but he, decided he wanted to call me, and I knew who he was because we'd corresponded back and forth. I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll give him a call. So we start talking. He's asking me a lot of questions about stuff, and he tells me that this might be the first phone call so far. I can't remember exactly, but needless to say, he says, I'm paying someone to build me a website. I said, oh man, you're paying somebody to do that? Why? What's wrong? He's like, and he'd done his research. He'd done his due diligence. He was very up to date with what he needed to do to be successful. He was already selling himself on the street, he was already hitting the doors. He was already talking to people. The guy's a go-getter. Very, very, just not messing around. His back was against the wall, and he's just a go-getter. He knows, he's in for the long haul. So he says, I need something. I need marketing working for me 24/7. I said, I get that. But how much are they charging you? And he says, $1,000. I said, oh, are you kidding me? This was like 6 months ago or maybe a year ago. I'm not quite sure. And I was just like, oh, come on, man. I go, give me $50. I'll build you a website. You won't, I'm going to save you. I don't know if I said that exactly, but I was like, you're getting ripped off. That's what I told him. And he says, he's like, well, I'm already into it now. This guy, he's built other people websites, and they're getting found, and finding them on Google and this and that. And I says, and I kind of took a step back from my immediate reaction was like, dude, save yourself $1,000, right? And actually, that was the wrong answer for me to say to him. It's because, and the reason I had said that originally was because I built my website. Yes, it took me like forever to make it look kind of okay. It literally took me forever. It took me a long time to write. I actually went back into it recently and wrote more into my website. I just thought that was a lot of money. So my first thing for everybody is, if you don't have a website, you can do it yourself. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can just start it, right? Just get inspired and go do it. But we'll take a step back from that for a second. So the gentleman, I said to him, I said, yeah, I don't know that I would have done that. I go, but if you really think about it, one, maybe two cases, like 2 days worth of work, maybe 16 hours at whatever you're billing, $75 an hour, 65, whatever it is. I don't know what you're gonna bill your clients. The website's paid for. You've paid for your investment, and if you got the work through the website, it's even like boom, proves it paid. It shows that it's paying for itself. So I go, yeah, I'll take a look at it when it's done, and let me know how it's going. And I think it was like 3 weeks went by, and his website was done, and he started getting ranked in Google. And when I say ranked in Google, that means when I search, let's say I'm a Tacoma Pride investigator. Now, if I search Tacoma Pride investigator and then you see all the names that come up, right? For the Tacoma Pride Investigator keyword that you search for, I'm ranking. I'm on the first page of Google, and and he started getting ranked. And when he started getting ranked, he started getting phone calls. When he started getting phone calls, he started getting work because he started selling it. And I mean, it was like within a week or two. I now this isn't exactly, but I'm almost certain that he had paid for the website, and it kind of snowballed. And he got work because he was also, he's a good salesman. He's selling himself and to these attorneys and whatnot. But I think I want to say, and I might be talking out of my hiney here, but I think like 20 or 30% of his work right now comes from phone calls coming in for this $1,000 website that he paid for. And so I want you guys to keep that in the back of your mind here before we go into some website tips. Remember, now $1,000 to anybody is a lot of money. Like, holy moly, really? But if you step back and go, okay, I'm going to pay $1,000 for a website that is going to get me phone calls coming in. I'm going to get ranked for whatever city, then it pays for itself. Just keep that in mind. So here's the website tips I got for you. First of all, if you are a business owner and you do not have a website, you need to take care of that. Okay. Unless you just absolutely do not think you need one. You've been in business for 20 years and you've never needed one, then maybe you're right. You don't need one. But if you're trying to grow, if it's like, I look at a website as kind of like your professional business card for, okay, if it's my website against the one pager from Yahoo, I'm going to win every time. They're coming to me. I'm almost certain. I mean, how many times have you been to a website where you just look at it and go, okay, yeah, I don't trust that guy. It happens, right? Or maybe, whatever. You go, whatever, someone's selling something. I got to drink some coffee here. It's way too late for podcasting. As I slurp it on the microphone. So here's my first. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get your URL, right? And this is, listen, if you're a business owner, you're not a business owner, you dream of being a business owner, you are a private investigator. Like, look, if you have even an inkling of saying, I might want to own my own business one day, and it's not that big a deal. Don't let it scare you. Then you need to start to think about, okay, what's my business name going to be? Is that available? Are there any other businesses with that name in the area? What's my URL going to be? What's my site address? The www.privateinvestigator.com, right? Well, we got to start thinking about that. And what you can do, once you start kind of kicking it around and thinking about it, you can just go to GoDaddy. And better yet, go to my website, then click on GoDaddy, and then go to GoDaddy, because then I can, get a commission for your awesomeness. But you go there, and I'm just going to give you an example. Something I didn't do enough research to begin with when I first started doing all this website stuff. But the first thing you want to do is you want to get a URL that kind of matches your keyword. So if I am a Tacoma private investigator, if I'm a Seattle private investigator, whatever it is. So if I'm Tacoma, I'm going to put www.tacomaprivateinvestigator.com. Is that available? Well, it probably isn't. Is .net available? Probably isn't. .org. I'll take that too. And then after that, you kind of got to get creative. Sometimes you can put like a little something at the end, like for instance, you look at the Private Investigator Advice website. It's Private Investigator Advice HQ, headquarters, whatever you want to call it, .com. I put the HQ on there because at the time when I was searching for a unique Private Investigator type URL for my blog, Private Investigator Advice was already taken. .com, .net, .org, if I remember correctly. It's been a while now. So I put the HQ on the end, got the .com. You guys probably always have a hard time trying to type that in. I need to actually get a simpler one for you guys to find it, but that will always be my URL for my blog. So you could put the same thing. You could put HQ on the end or something else similar to that. Wife's texting me here. Sorry, guys. So that's the first thing. You want to start thinking about URL. Now, you can do that without even buying a website, or doing any websites. So just buy it. Like, for instance, I just bought andrewskid.com. Just now I own my own name for a URL. You guys should think about doing that too. You never know. You guys might be famous one day and just need a website all about yourself, right? Okay. So, so now that we got that, we kind of talked about that a little bit. You just kind of think about that. Dallas Private Investigator, I would go for what people search for. And by the way, so you're like, well, what if you're at home and you're like, well, I'm like in this nowhere town. Well, then you might want to think about like a nearby town that's bigger that people look for private investigators in. If I'm in Colorado, I'm looking at Denver, Boulder, I think Loveland. I think you get the idea. I'm looking for those type of keywords, like what people are going to search. And if that's not good enough for you, go to the Google Keyword Planner, type in private investigator in your city, and see what people are searching. It'll give you a list of things. It'll actually tell you how many people are searching for it a day, a month, a week, and just kind of give you an idea. And then, for me, what I would suggest is doing a market close to you, something you can focus on. Like for me, I was in Tacoma, but I also knew Seattle was a big market, but it's also a big market that's very competitive. And I was like, you know what, let me just stick with mine. I'll stick with Tacoma, and that'll be my secondary market that I'll focus on. This was a while ago, so I had higher aspirations back then. I think I've lowered them since then. But anyways, so we'll get past that. We talked about that. So we talked about you're the city. We want to target the city. We want to go. If you guys take it a step further, right? So then you want to. I'm a big proponent of building your website. But if you don't want to build your website, now don't be intimidated by this, okay? I think I built trying to remember now. I think I built my website first, but it was so hokey. I think I started with Squarespace. My brother tried to help me. In fact, I think he was doing all the work on it. Like if I needed anything done, he was doing it. It was such a hassle. It was a hassle for me because I was so website illiterate. And things have changed so much since, I don't know, the internet started with building websites. I eventually switched to a WordPress platform, and I self-taught, but this was a very long process to learn, right? And a lot of YouTube videos and watching other people do it, and it was kind of scary. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I just didn't want to ruin anything. Like I want to break anything. And most of the times when I don't do something, it's because I'm worried I'm going to break it. If that makes any sense. But I eventually, I started building it. It was ugly. I think it's still a little ugly now. It looks okay, but I still think it's a little ugly. I signed up for Google Places, Bing Places, and I started writing a lot of content on my website, and I kind of optimized it a little bit. And I think I actually made some videos on it. But eventually, my business website started ranking in Google for the first page, and it started off like on the second to the bottom, and it finally has worked its way up. I mean, we're talking what is it now? Two, I don't even know how many years it's been. Maybe it's only been 2 years. But I'm at top of Google Places, and that's the little listings you'll see, like just the name and the address of the business. There's like 3 other things ahead of me, and it changes, it fluctuates, and sometimes it depends on where people are searching from and stuff like that. But I'll be honest with you, like I'm trying to not take any work. I'm referring like almost everything I get right now, and out of nowhere, like seriously, like I'll get like a call a week or something, and I usually end up referring it because I just don't have the time to do anything extra. And I swear, like the past 3 days, and I kid you not, I think I've gotten like 6 or 7 phone calls. I can't even do the work. I have to pass it on. But if it wasn't for being ranked on Google Places, those phone calls would not be happening because I am not actively marketing. I'm not. But let me ask you something. Who just gets random calls if they can't find you, they can't call you. They can't call you, you can't build that trust with them. You can't do anything unless you got the client in front of you, right? So a website is it's one of those no-brainers, yo. Just one of those no-brainers. You got to do it. So this goes into our the new sponsor of this show, and that is going to be investigatormarketing.com. Now, they reached out to me, it was like 3 or 4 days ago. He's like, hey, I was going to do an affiliate program for him. And he says, look, I can't do that. That's the program that I'm working with isn't working. I says, I tell you, we'll just do some advertising on your site. I go, I tell you what, before we do that, I go, let me start asking. I start asking questions. Tell me about what services you're offering. Because I told you, I'm a big proponent of, kind of doing it yourself. And even though I want people to have these great websites, I want them to still have control of it. I wanted to know that Investigator Marketing was truly on the side of the people, the clients, right? Like they weren't trying to screw them. They were just trying to get their client what they want. And so, one of the owners, Ruben, I swear we talked for like 2 hours. It was great. I mean, I just wanted to kind of pick his brain, like, well, how do you do it? And what's going on with the company? What are you offering? And he says, well, first of all, anybody that refers is going to get 15% off. So no matter what you get, like if you decide to go and have any type of work done, with Pride Investigator Marketing, website, and they've got a bunch of services. I'll kind of get into it in a second, but whatever it's going to be, they're going to give you 15% off if you drop my name, Pride Investigator Advice podcast, or Pride Investigator Advice, Andrew, whatever. You just refer him to, say, Andrew, the bald guy with the beard. Yeah, he's going to knock off 15%. So I kind of got to talking to him about what he does, and he's got. First of all, let me just tell you about some of his success stories, and this kind of draws back into my stories. But he shares the work that he's done already, right? All these different websites, and each one of them kind of has like this success story, like, this is the work that we did this is what they were going through, and so they can directly correlate or directly relate like some of the business that they've received to the website ranking, or we found you on the website, or whatever it was, and they paid for like their website or their services within the first month, like it was taken care of, and some got more services than the others. What was really neat is that they really do a lot. Like I was looking at a service, like, wow, I go, Ruben, you offer a lot. He's like, yeah, we really do, and you know what? And what we do works. It's like, I know websites. I know how to get people ranked. I know what looks good. And when they let me show them, when I talk to the client, we talk about, well, what do you want? And what do you want to have on it? And, he puts his input in and he shares like, this is what I think will work for you. And they say, well, this is what I want. And they put it together, and these people are, they're getting business from it. It's helping them. Their business is taking off. So I would highly suggest you go to investigatormarketing.com and go and just look at their, the work that they've done. I think it's one of their menu options here. I think it's portfolio. So check that out, and it'll say work that they've done or something to that effect, and read the success stories. Look at the websites. Look how nice they look, and even more, they've got like super duper services, like packages already set up where they got a basic package, a standard package, a business, and a premium. Now, these are like pre-set up packages. You can call up and say, well, this is the kind of package I want to put together, and he'll price that accordingly. But just for the basic package. And I'm not going to run through all of them, but I just want to kind of give you an idea. They give you the website and logo design. So free website and logo design. I guess it's included in the package, right? But to get a logo, that's something I've struggled with. I don't know. I probably should talk to them about it. They can do website hosting, email support to get you that branded email. Like for me, it's like akid@fortifiedis.com. Actually, had my brother set that up for me. I don't even know how to do it. I got to find out from these guys. They give you website security, website maintenance. Make sure your website's updated, keeping updated with everything. Social media integration, get you set up with that. Get it set up on your website. Mobile website support. A lot of that has to do with designing the website to where And this is something that's important, is that it looks good when someone's looking at it on their cell phone. Okay. That's mobile is happening even more. These phones are getting better. They're faster. More people are using these like their little mini computers when they're walking around. Like, here's an example, like 30 or 40% of the people that watch videos on the YouTube for the PI advice, they watch it on their phones. They don't watch it at home. They're on the go. They're probably sitting in their cars doing surveillance, right? They do traffic reports and web analytics. That analytics kind of tells you how they're finding you, where they're coming from. They could tell you. The analytics are so crazy now. They could tell you whether they're watching their, what kind of computer. It's just crazy. Pretty sure computer. They can tell you if it's a laptop. I can tell you what state, what country. That's pretty amazing, and that's even that kind of can help you direct your website, your marketing, at what you want to do. They also have like newsletters and reminders. They do business card designs, flyer designs. So for that, they actually put in there. They say, hey, for that it's $3,000, and they relate that to it's 3 cases a year. Right, to pay for that service, for that setup, for $3,000, which that's a lot of money. But really, if you made $1,000 off a case, that's only 3 cases a year. And that's the perspective I want you to think about. Now, you don't have to do the $3,000 one. You could do $1,000 one. You could probably do it for less than that. But needless to say, whatever you choose. If that's the way you want to go, they have a thing set up. So you're saying, Andrew, you're right. You're brilliant. We all need websites. You're right. But I'm not dropping 3K. Well, I don't blame you if that's your concern. But even if you just want a website built, talk to them about it and say, this is what I want. I don't want to spend $3,000, but this is what I want to start off at this. I wanted you to build me a website. I want you to make this optimized. I want it to get ranked. And he's going to give you a number. But regardless of what it is, you don't have to pay for it all up front. They have a no payments, no interest, paid in full within 6 months. They have this PayPal thing. And so you can literally finance your website if you want to. If you're worried about that initial cost, they got a PayPal thing set up. So talk to them about that. And you literally, like, I don't know, I'm just guesstimating here, but probably pay $100 a month and for 6 months. But you would probably have it paid for if you were full blown, like, okay, I'm in business and here's I get a new client and boom, it's paid for. You don't have to worry about it anymore. You've already paid for your website. It's taken care of. But yeah, talk to him about it. A couple recommendations. He offers a lot on his thing. I was overwhelmed with all the awesomeness that was on this website, but a couple things. If you have a website built, these are the 2 advices that I would tell you. And he'll probably tell you the same thing too. You want to own everything. Okay. You want to own your domain, and you want a domain name, www. whatever. And you want to own your hosting package, whatever that's going to be. You can have him take care of it and everything, but own it. So if you ever decide not to use the services again from anybody, and this goes for not just investigator marketing, but anybody, you want to make sure that's yours, right? Okay. So that's my website rant. So we talked about, if you're even thinking about it, you're like, oh, man, I'm so tired of working for people. I just want my own business. Okay, well, you need to think about a website. You could buy, you can buy like the optimized word, like private investigator in Tacoma.com or something like that, right? Whatever your state is. And you could also buy your company name. So for instance, my company is Fortified Investigative Services. I bought the domain Fortified IS, IS is investigative services, .com. And what you can do is if you could have the optimized one, right? The TacomaPrimeInvestigator.com, that be your main domain, but you never have to really share that one. You can always just share the other one, the fortifiedis.com, right? And just redirect it. So whenever they would go to that fortifiedis.com, it just automatically went to TacomaPrimeInvestigator.com and you're good to go. But the optimized one is what matters, right? So something to think about. I want you guys to get off your bottoms. This is a G-rated show, I think. And I mean, even if you don't do any of this investigatormarketing.com stuff, right? You still need to get your website. Even if you're just even thinking about it, you could already get started in the process in your brain of what kind of website is going to be and what's this SEO stuff and what's this optimization stuff. Well, you get the website, start talking about the website. You know, even if you don't know what to do, you can give investigatormarketing.com a call and like I said, tell them I sent you. Get the 15%. Don't pay full. Get the 15% off, right? And they're going to square you away, and they'll break it down for you a lot easier. These guys are professional website builders. I mean, most of the websites that I built all kind of look the same. They're all very. In fact, Ruben even said that my websites look ugly, so we might have to do something about that. So, anyways, well, and so we'll get off the website stuff now. Let's see here. Oh, I'm talking way longer than I had thought I was going to talk to. I talked a lot about websites. Sorry about that. Needed to be said. Okay. All right. Okay. So the last thing, there's two other things actually. The first thing, if you guys are like looking for a place to kind of get your news and stuff, go to pifeed.com. That's one place. That's kind of like not necessarily all PI news, but it's kind of like PI related. And then there's another Facebook page that I always I send my stuff to, but it's called the Private Investigator and Security Group. That's Facebook, and a lot of people like post like PI news or privacy news or stuff that PIs like to listen to. So you can check that one out. And that again, that's the Private Investigator and Security Group on Facebook. Just Facebook that and find out what I'm talking about. What else? Also with the pifeed.com, if you have a website already and you have a blog, it might behoove of you kind of like to, get some eyes on your website. Maybe people are already looking at this website, for their news. You could actually set up a profile on the PI feed. And then what you could do is kind of set it up to where your RSS feed, which basically, I think a really simple something rather. I don't remember what that means. But anytime you write a blog, it literally will upload or be somehow magically appear on this website. And so people could start following you and you can start building trust with maybe other private investigators, or maybe you could start, maybe it'll, I don't know. Maybe you get a client out of it. I don't know. Honestly, I just set mine up, so the next blog I post will be posted on here. So you could read it on here maybe. And, so finally, I did a video on the Sony HDR CX220 camcorder, and I thought it was a good review. It kind of shared my thoughts, and I don't want to spoil it. I want you to check it out if you haven't seen it. I got a lot of comments on it. Everybody's very opinionated when it comes to their surveillance camera. But here's the simple truth of it. I bought a Sony, and man, so here it is right here. Speak of the devil. I bought this camera here, 2 years ago. Love it. Small. It was a DCR-SX44. Just a touch screen. 60 times zoom. I mean, I love that camera. Okay. I love it. And the screen went out. I just used it too many times. I don't fault it like, oh, it's a piece of crap camera. No, I beat this thing up. Okay. And that's the most important thing to share about it is I beat it up and it just kept on working. And then finally it just pooped out. Okay. So then I went and got the new one. I got this, which is it was their lowest model, I should say. Okay. And when I say lowest model, it was their $250 model, which by no means is not a lot of money. It's pricey for me. $250 is a lot. Okay. And again, I bought this 2 years ago. It was also their lower model, their 250 version, this old one here, the DCR SX44, for $250. So I literally okay, well, I looked at all the cameras that day, and I picked up this HDR CX220. Just assumed that certain things were in there, right? Just assume that the charger was going to be in there, and the audio video cables, and I opened up the box. I'm like, what the? Told my wife, like, wife, there's nothing in this box but like a camera and some instructions, and I think it came with some other cable, like a USB extension cable. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I listen. I don't want to spoil the review. Check out the review at the Pride Investigator Device website at PrideInvestigatorDeviceHQ.com. There's a link to the video. I have my written. I think there's a written one in there. My written review, and I've got the video in there. So kind of expresses my passion for the. I don't know. I was just really disappointed, dude. I'm really disappointed. But I'm still using it. I'm still using the camera. I actually use it for surveillance. I mean, it's not horrible. It only has a 32 times zoom. And I actually did some experiments today. I did another video. I haven't posted yet, but you'll see that in a few days. So check out that video. Cameras are important. If I'm going to recommend anything just off the top of my head here, I know Sony's not my top choice right now. I mean, I'm really concerned at what their motives are. Is they just trying to rip us off, or give us less for our money, or make me go to the Sony website and buy these other things that I didn't want to have to buy? I don't know. The other one's Canon. Consider Canon. Panasonic. I've never been fond of them, but that might be, an option now. I don't know. At least I know with a Panasonic, they're going to give you a charger, right? So, I don't know. So, well, you guys, listen. I guess my last little sponsored advertisement is Audible. Audible for your Audible books, right? For your books on the go. Listen, I know my podcasts are awesome, but you gotta. There's only so many, and I know you don't want to keep listening to the same ones over again, right? And then there's you got the American PI and PI Declassified. That was the other one. That's the other one. PI Declassified, another good podcast. But you got those. But you know what? You're going to run out of them eventually, right? You're working 5 days a week, and those are only 3 podcasts. So you've got 8-hour days. So you need to fill that time with either a book for enjoyment or a book for learning. You only have 2 choices. And so Audible's got that cool deal where you can sign up using the special offer code of audibletrial.com/PI Advice Podcast. You get a free book, dude. Listen, I got a ton of listeners, and I think there's only like 2 or 3 people that have signed up for that. That's a really low percentage. So either you guys just don't believe me, or you're just not taking advantage of an awesome deal. I did the deal. I know. I got the free book. And I also stayed with the service because I like it. And I've shared my books on here. Actually, I haven't listened to it I haven't listened to my books recently. Because my work's been super sporadic, and when I'm at home, I'm usually like typing and stuff and making videos and blogging and doing my dad blog and doing this blog and all that kind of good stuff. But the last 2 books that I got was Game of Thrones Part 1. Mind you, there's like 20 parts of that. Let's see here. Well, at least 4 they're showing me, but that's a whole other story. And but there's marketing books. All Marketers Are Liars. That was a good one. Or it still is a good one. I didn't finish that one. The Big Short. That was a good one. Contagious. Love that one. E-Myth. Super duper good book. From Good to Great. Love it. That's a good book to listen to. You want to learn about how companies went from good to great. That's a good one. You kind of think about that for your own company. Rework. Love it. So I could go on and on. But yeah, check that out, guys. And listen, go make some money, whether you're a private investigator or not. If you're interested in the industry, I hope this podcast and the website and the videos and all that kind of good stuff helps you. share your stories. If you have a success story, if you start a business, let me know. So I can just kind of just give you, like good job, like a thumbs up. I'm happy for you. It's a big step. People don't realize that. It's a very intimidating step, like website building. At least it was for me. And even this business now. I mean, I'm still intimidated by things. Some things, I don't know, scare me. I don't know, scare me is the right word, but, I don't know. Businesses can be complicated. Anyways, you guys enjoy your days. I'm just rambling on. And let's see if I get this outro music going like I always do here. Yeah, somebody asked me about my outro music. This is that whistle song. I really like. I thought it was really catchy, and so I don't know who the singer is, but I got the acoustic version, and here I am. I'm looking to change it, but the one song I want to change it to, I can't find the acoustic, so we're stuck with whistle. But anyways, guys, have a good one. Bye bye.